This is MXUX. This is a video about Ride Stock, Lordstown Motors, an update on the bankruptcy. This is information for the bankruptcy. This is the main URL of the law firm that, I believe the law firm or accounting firm, whatever it is, handling the bankruptcy. In this next section, you'll see across the top in yellow is the URL of the specific information for Lordstown Motors on this site. As you can see, there's a lot of different choices there. This is what we all want to know, frequently asked questions for stockholders. What will happen to the stock I own? This will be determined in the course of Chapter 11 proceedings. However, we will seek to maximize value to all stakeholders, including our shareholders. So, there you go. They have another statement here about the delisting, and then another statement that reiterates what was said previously. So there's the URL, there's the information, you can track it. Now in this section, this is a call for action. I want you to pause this, write down this contact information for J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is the senator. Lordstown, Ohio, to the best of my knowledge, is in his jurisdiction, and he is the one that should be taking this to Congress and demand an investigation. I'm going to explain this in a minute. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Now in this section, I'm going to go over what to say when you contact the senator from Lordstown. Now, I've got a bunch of information here on Hindenburg. And there's a picture of the head of Hindenburg. This next section I think is very interesting. Everybody thinks this is a big giant detective firm. 9 employees. 9 employees. These are the people that are ruining the stock market. Now, what I'm going to go over here with Hindenburg is this. Hindenburg has done 2 attacks related to Lordstown Motors. One was attack number 1 on Lordstown Motors itself. And again, there is political timing to all of this. And I think someone has to find out what Hindenburg's connection to Lordstown is. Hindenburg's connection to people that may be opposing the concept of a Lordstown, Ohio motor plant, a political angle. Who is pulling the strings? Now, the reason I ask this is because, as you can see here, Hindenburg shorted Icon. Now, Icon is known for coming in to rescue companies that he thinks have potential, but that are down on their luck. And he was not going to go into Lordstown, in my opinion, until the truck was in production. Now, what is so critical about this is that Dan Niavaji worked for Icon. Dan Niavaji is the chairman of the board of and former CEO of Lordstown. Of course, he's connected to Icon. Now, just at the moment when Carl Icahn was in a position to perhaps consider, and I have no information on this, but I am just telling you that it's logical, it's not out of the realm of possibility, to come to the rescue as a white knight to Lordstown and do an equity stake and redo the company. This is what Icon does. This is just exactly made for his modus operandi. He's attacked by Hindenburg, and this timing was uncanny. So we have 2 separate instances here when Hindenburg has played a major role in condemning Lordstown stock price. And I do not think this is an accident, in my opinion. J.D. Vance should also investigate Foxconn, and this is for a CFIUS violation. When you file for CFIUS, and I am not an attorney, please seek legal advice on this. When you file CFIUS, a foreign investment application with the United States government, you have to detail what you are going to do. It's evaluated by multiple agencies in the U.S. government, so forth. Okay? And you cannot lie or misstate what you are going to do in this application. And if you lie or misstate what you are going to do in this application, there are ramifications for that. Now, here's the thing. Fox stated very clearly the percentage of stock, the number of shares of stock they were going to buy, and they changed that number. This was one of their main reasons for canceling, pulling out of the agreement. And this was after, and we're going to go over this in a minute, the stock price was forced down, I believe, by outside forces. But the fact of the matter is, they misstated their intentions in their CFIUS application. They essentially did not apply with correct information. This needs to be investigated. This is a breach of CFIUS rules, plain and simple. J.D. Vance needs to take this to Congress, needs to take this to CFIUS for an investigation, period. Okay, this next section is regarding BlackRock. Now, I've done a video on this. It was suspicious at the time. I believe this needs to be looked into. Now, BlackRock, first of all, we have to look at BlackRock's political associations. You can see here that Joe Biden has BlackRock people in his cabinet. Okay. Joe Biden's choice to install 2 former BlackRock execs in his cabinet in a major signal of his deference to Wall Street. So, Joe Biden certainly is very familiar with BlackRock, and they are very familiar with him. And there's more of this to come. This isn't the only piece of information on this. There's also the fact that the Justice Department, the Treasury hire, former BlackRock executive joins the Treasury Department. Okay? Then, following that, FDIC retains BlackRock unit for the SVB securities sale. So that is the bank failure, Silicon Valley Bank. Now, they made fees off of this, $27 and $87 billion of asset sales. They did a stock sale to dump Lordstown stock price, and this played a role at a critical time. The timing of this sale needs to be investigated. Now, just let me start this next section by saying this isn't a political channel. This channel does not endorse any politician. I have no political opinions to state. I did not invest in Lordstown Motors because of Trump's involvement. However, I must say that when you look at the totality of this information and the way the timing of these events have especially worked out, and I'm talking certainly about the timing of the 2 Hindenburg reports, the one on Lordstown, and by the way, these Hindenburg reports are baseless. I don't know how this firm is allowed to operate. Muddy Waters and Citrus, or I'm sorry, whatever the other firm's name was, and Hindenburg were all under investigation by the Department of Justice. The other 2 firms have stopped, but Hindenburg seems to be immune to any kind of investigation and the potential stock price manipulation, and anyway, the point is, and we can talk about BlackRock again, the associations with the Biden administration, Joe Biden's announcement to run for a second term, the timing of the suspicious massive Lordstown Motors stock sale by BlackRock, which did, in my opinion, and I am not an expert, do your own DD, did, in my opinion, crash the price of Lordstown Motors stock, which was climbing or at least leveling off and building steam at that moment. It just seems, to my mind, to be too critical of a timing to just be a random act, or even one that's motivated by any specific economic factors. I was suspicious when BlackRock took a large position in Lordstown Motors. If you listen to Jim, now there are some tapes of Jim Cramer on the internet that were done back when he was still a hedge fund guy. And he starts talking about how, you can route these stocks, you get a stock that's low priced and you simply stampede the retail investors by doing big sales, and you have a short on the other side and so forth. And, BlackRock is the biggest investment firm in the world. They own more stocks than anyone. They, I don't know how many billions they are worth. Although, we'll see how they do with the commercial real estate crash coming up. In any event, between Hindenburg and BlackRock, especially these two, and then with Trump announcing his re-election campaign, all these events, do it yourself. Plot out a calendar. Put these events on. Put the events of Biden's presidency on. Put the events of Trump's running or not running on, his announcements and so forth. Anyway, I think there certainly is enough information there for someone like J.D. Vance to say, hey, let's take a look at this. What is going on here? Okay? And then, you've got the Foxconn CFIUS thing. Now, why wasn't Foxconn called on that by CFIUS? That's another issue. Now, I want to just pause here for a minute. We're going to go into another section here. Now, this section here is going over on how they're using Lordstown Motors as a bellwether for Trump's industrial policy. And, the need for this not to be a success by Trump's political opposition was very high. So what I'm saying here is, and I'm again not taking a political position, there certainly is a motivation to manipulate, influence the price of Lordstown Motors stock, to take it to a point where the firm is forced to the condition it is in right now. Was this due to market factors, or was this due to other issues, political ramifications? Now, earlier I had mentioned Donald Trump and Carl Icahn. Now, Carl Icahn was a Trump supporter for Trump's first term. They're both New Yorkers. Carl Icahn goes to bat for Trump again. Carl Icahn agreed with Trump's industrial policy. And, one of the exactly right on about the economy, Icahn said. So, it's funny that, Hindenburg should target a company that's part of Trump's industrial policy, and also an individual who has backed Trump's industrial policy, who was in a position potentially to resurrect Lordstown Motors before Trump's re-election or during Trump's re-election campaign, although I do believe Icon has not stated whether he is in fact going to support Trump this way around. But that's something that needs to be taken into account. Now, this is some information from the from a think tank. Is industrial policy making a comeback? They're talking about how Trump was right. Trump, and again, not political. However, I'm talking with relations in relation to Lordstown Motors. The industrial policy that Trump stated was correct, and you can see that everything that Biden has done with industrial policy backs up Trump. So anyway, I just wanted to put this video out there and make my opinions known on this, because I think that it's important, and I think that these things are being overlooked by so many people, and I do think they're worthy of investigation. Hi, this is MXUX. Just want to do a disclaimer here. I'm not a professional accountant, a financial advisor, attorney, engineer, or economist. And this information is not presented to advise you to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. I'm not advising you. I'm presenting my opinion, and it's for entertainment purposes. And I hope you guys enjoy the content. Before investing, always seek professional advice, as losses can and do occur when investing in stocks or securities. Thanks for checking out the channel. There's a link that will come up in this video, and there's a subscribe at the bottom as well. Thanks a lot, guys.